actually we've got quite an even pair of legs here, but just stand straight for me a second. So these little things I want to conceal now. So generally, if I look at this, I might feel like she's about this colour, but it's interesting how light the concealer goes when it's on the leg. Like my worst thing is if when I see concealing like this, pressed on with a finger in a bad way and not blended in. You know what I mean? When the flash hits that on the runway, you really get an obvious conceal mark. So actually I need to go quite warm here. Warmer than I would really think. So with my 109 brush, I like to just buff that in. And then go over with a little bit of a lighter tone, like that. So any little areas of anything that you can see, just blend in. A little area there.
Sorry, jeans for
Yeah.
guys, right? If they're hairy, is this the method usable?
Yeah.
Shave them first.
Exactly. Exactly. With guys, just put lots of moisturiser in it, and generally the hair covers any bruising or anything. You don't see it as much, but you're going to have to use it's a really good question actually. You're going to have to use a little slightly different technique, maybe something that's a little bit more pressed on. So around the knees, again, not just absolutely normal, just to, your knees are always a little bit darker, but we want to just brighten them up a little bit, so I'm going for the lighter shades here, just to brighten up the knee. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a scar there. Just buffing in. So this is why I like this brush, because it gives me a very smooth edge. A little bit there. Now the challenge is doing this in the dark, obviously, because all of a sudden those tones that you thought were right, when you do them in the dark, are completely different. So, and just turn around for me, huh? Let's have a little look. Great, so a little bit on the back of the knee there. Putting it in there, we're just going to make this look really even. It's crazy though to think like how much work goes into a model before she walks on the runway. We think that they're these perfect things, but actually they've got so much help to look like that. So, you know, any little areas like this, you can just go in and just smooth out. You know, so you could spend a good 5 minutes on a body, really, making it look absolutely perfect. You know, a little bite there. That disappear, a little scratch, a little bite there. So it's quite a lot. Well, not a lot. So you get the idea. Make the legs look perfect. Okay, so then, as I was saying before, it's not just the legs as well, sometimes it's the hands. If a model stood around in a small dress and it's cold, the air comes in, you know, bless you. Sometimes our hands can get really cold, so once you've moisturised, you know, just give the little hands a rub. If you don't want to put too much, I don't really like too much makeup on hands because they look a bit corpsey, they look a bit fake. So what you can do, you can give them a little toasty warm up like this, put them in between your arm, and that just gets the blueness away. You often find me stood backstage holding him on. And then, you know, you give them a massage, and also, if the girl's really cold, ask her to stand like this before she walks, because that just, it drains all of the blood, and the hands become a little bit more even toned. If she stood like this, they kind of go to sleep and they look a little bit blue again. So that's a good tip if your girls are particularly blue. Hands. So whenever I moisturise a hand, a girl can be in heels. If you're tugging around too much, you know, she might topple over. So I always ask your model to hold onto your arm. That way you've got a nice, steady surface to work on. Same principles. Elbows usually are the driest things. Obviously moisturise the elbow. On the hands, which are the key areas that you think we might need to conceal? The knuckles generally a little bit more red. A great tip that I like to use for the hands sometimes is, instead of using concealer, perhaps I'll use a mineralised powder, just because it's a bit more real looking. and just buff that over the knuckle. Also really great as well if you're nervous about getting any product on the clothes and you don't want to use concealer or face and body, sometimes mineralized skin finish on the legs can work equally as well. But yeah, so generally you just want to take down the redness and always just check like that, you know, her hand looks a little bit more beige, a little bit more even. So when she walks, she'll be very even now. Yeah. So those are some tips for body. What we're going to do, we're going to bring some models in. We're going to take this off. You're going to work in teams. And we're going to put you in a little bit of a real backstage scenario and see how you cope. So, okay, we're going to let you quickly get, Melvin's going to put you back to normal.